What if I told you that the wealthiest people you will ever meet do not look wealthy at all? They drive average cars. They wear unremarkable clothes. They live in houses that do not scream money. They do not post their wins on social media. They do not talk about their investments at dinner parties. They do not flash watches or designer bags or first-class upgrades. And yet quietly, invisibly, systematically, they are building more wealth every single month than most people accumulate in a decade. This is not an accident. This is a strategy, the most powerful wealth building strategy that exists. And it has a name: silent wealth, the art of building real, lasting financial freedom without anyone knowing it is happening. Because here is what the truly wealthy figured out that the rest of the world never did. The moment people know you have money, the moment your lifestyle signals wealth, the system sends every possible mechanism to take it from you. Social pressure to spend more, lifestyle expectations that expand to match your apparent income, requests from family, opportunities that are really just expenses in disguise. The wealthy stay invisible because invisibility is protection. And today I am giving you all 12 silent moves they use to build wealth without anyone ever knowing. My name is your name. And welcome to Wealth Rebel, where we expose the financial systems designed to keep ordinary people broke and show you exactly how to break free. Let's get into all 12. Silent move number 1, they drive boring cars. The average new car payment in America today is $735 per month. That is $8,820 per year. That is $88,200 over 10 years before interest. And what do you get for that $88,200? A depreciating asset that loses 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. A status symbol that impresses strangers for approximately 2 seconds before they forget you exist. The silently wealthy drive paid off, reliable, unglamorous cars, not because they cannot afford better, because they understand that every dollar not spent on a depreciating status symbol is a dollar that can be deployed into an appreciating asset. $735 per month invested instead of spent on a car payment at 10% annual returns over 30 years becomes $1,650,000. The boring car millionaires are driving is not a sacrifice. It is a strategy that costs them zero social status among people who matter and builds them extraordinary wealth over time. Silent move number 2, they live in houses below their means. The bank will approve you for far more mortgage than you should ever take. They calculate your maximum borrowing capacity and then offer it to you as though it is a target rather than a ceiling. The silently wealthy ignore the ceiling. They buy houses well below what they qualify for. Houses in good neighborhoods, but not prestigious ones. Houses that are functional and comfortable, but do not announce their income to everyone who visits. Because a house is not just a purchase. It is a fixed cost that follows you for 30 years. Every dollar of mortgage you do not take is a dollar that does not cost you interest for 3 decades. The difference between a $400,000 mortgage and a $600,000 mortgage over 30 years at current interest rates is over $400,000 in total payments. The silently wealthy buy the $400,000 house. They invest the difference. And 10 years later, they have a paid-off modest home and an investment portfolio that generates more income than the prestigious neighborhood ever could have. Silent move number 3, they never tell anyone what they earn. Salary transparency sounds like a good idea in theory. In practice, the moment people know what you earn, everything changes. Family members start making requests. Friends start expecting you to cover more. Lifestyle expectations from your social circle shift to match your known income. Even your own brain starts giving you permission to spend more because it knows the money is there. The silently wealthy keep their income completely private, not out of shame, out of strategy, because financial privacy is financial protection. When nobody knows what you earn, nobody can pressure you to spend at a level that matches their perception of your income. You stay free to make financial decisions based on your actual goals rather than other people's expectations. Silent move number 4, they automate everything. The silently wealthy do not rely on willpower to save and invest. Willpower is finite. It gets depleted by stress, by fatigue, by a bad day at work, by a sale at the mall. They automate instead. Every paycheck automatically a fixed percentage transfers to investments before it ever hits their spending account. They never see it. They never make a decision about it. It just happens, month after month, year after year, compounding quietly in the background while their conscious brain focuses on living their life. Automation removes the human element from wealth building, and the human element, the impulse, the rationalization, the one-time exception that somehow happens every month is the single biggest obstacle to consistent wealth accumulation. Set it up once. Let it run forever. Do not touch it. Silent move number 5, they invest in index funds and never talk about it. The loudest investors are almost always the worst performers. The people who talk constantly about their stock picks, their crypto positions, their hot tips, these are the people who are actively destroying their wealth through trading costs, emotional decisions, and survivorship bias. The silently wealthy invest in boring, diversified, low-cost index funds. They buy the entire market. They hold it forever. They never sell during downturns. They never chase performance. They never rebalance based on CNBC headlines, and they never tell anyone about it because there is nothing exciting to tell. Index fund investing is the most boring wealth building strategy that exists. It is also the most effective. Study after study shows that passive index fund investors outperform the vast majority of active traders and professional fund managers over long time horizons. The silently wealthy know this. So they invest in index funds, set up automatic contributions, and then go live their lives while their money quietly compounds in the background. Silent move number 6, they use debt strategically, not emotionally. Most people use debt to buy things they want now that they cannot afford. The silently wealthy use debt to acquire assets that generate more income than the debt costs. This is the fundamental difference between bad debt and good debt. Bad debt credit cards, car loans, personal loans charges you interest to buy depreciating assets or consumable experiences. It makes you poorer every month you carry it. Good debt, a mortgage on a rental property, a business loan with clear positive ROI costs you interest but generates more income than it costs. It makes you richer every month you hold it. The silently wealthy have zero bad debt. They pay their credit cards in full every single month. They drive paid-off cars. They have no personal loans. And they sometimes carry good debt, strategically debt that is working for them rather than against them. This distinction between debt that builds wealth and debt that destroys it is one of the most important financial concepts that most people never learn. Silent move number 7, they build skills that compound. The silently wealthy understand that the most valuable asset they own is not in their brokerage account. It is in their brain. They invest relentlessly in skills that increase their earning capacity, not certificates for the sake of credentials, not courses they never finish, but specific, marketable, high-value skills that directly increase what the market will pay them. A skill that increases your income by $10,000 per year is worth $200,000 at a 5% withdrawal rate. The return on skill investment dwarfs the return on almost any financial investment, and the compounding works the same way. Skills build on each other. The person who learns to sell, then learns marketing, then learns finance becomes exponentially more valuable than the sum of their individual skills. The silently wealthy are always learning, always improving, always building the human capital that eventually generates the financial capital that sets them free. Silent move number 8, they avoid lifestyle creep like a disease. Every time the silently wealthy get a raise, they save it before they can spend it. Every time they get a bonus, it goes directly to investments before their brain has time to start planning what to buy with it. They treat lifestyle inflation as the enemy of wealth that it actually is. Because lifestyle inflation is not just about spending more. It is about raising your fixed costs permanently. Every lifestyle upgrade that becomes a fixed monthly expense is a permanent claim on your future income. The silently wealthy keep their lifestyle flat even as their income grows, not forever, but long enough to build the asset base that eventually funds the lifestyle they actually want, funded by passive income rather than active labor. There is a moment, a specific, calculable moment when your investment returns exceed your annual expenses. When that happens, you are financially free. The silently wealthy reach that moment faster than anyone because they keep their expenses flat while their investment returns grow. Silent move number 9, they have an emergency fund and never touch it. The silently wealthy do not just have an emergency fund, they treat it as sacred. It is not a savings account they dip into for non-emergencies. It is not the fund they raid when they want to take a vacation or upgrade their phone. It is armor, pure financial armor that exists for one purpose: to prevent a life emergency from becoming a financial catastrophe. They keep 6 to 12 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account, completely separate from their checking account, with no debit card attached, with transfer delays that create friction between impulse and action. And because it is always there fully funded, they never have to make desperate financial decisions. They never have to take the bad job because they cannot afford to wait for the right one. They never have to sell investments during a downturn because they need cash. They never have to go into credit card debt because of an unexpected expense. The emergency fund does not just protect their savings, it protects every other financial decision they make. Silent move number 10, they build multiple income streams quietly. The silently wealthy never depend on a single income source. Not because they plan to have multiple streams from the beginning, but because they systematically built them one at a time over years and decades. Stream 1, their primary job or business. Stream 2, dividend income from their investment portfolio. Stream 3, a rental property or real estate investment. Stream 4, a side business or freelance income in their area of expertise. Stream 5, royalties, digital products, or other passive income sources. None of these streams started big. All of them started small. But over time, with consistent reinvestment and compounding, each stream grew until collectively they generated more income than any single salary ever could. And here is the part nobody talks about. They built all of these streams quietly, without announcing them, without posting about them, without seeking validation or admiration, because the goal was never to impress anyone. The goal was freedom. Silent move number 11, they think in decades, not months. The silently wealthy make financial decisions based on where they want to be in 10 or 20 years, not based on what feels good this month. This long-term thinking protects them from the two biggest wealth destroyers that affect everyone else: impulse spending, which feels good now and costs you future wealth, and panic selling, which feels like protection during market downturns but destroys the compounding that time provides. When you think in decades, the short-term fluctuations that terrify short-term thinkers become irrelevant noise. A 30% market drop is terrifying if you are thinking about this year. It is a buying opportunity if you are thinking about the next 20 years. The silently wealthy hold during crashes. They buy during dips. They ignore the news cycle. They stay the course because they understand that time in the market beats timing the market every single time. Silent move number 12, they give themselves permission to be invisible. This is the most underrated of all 12 silent moves, and it is the one that makes all the others possible. The silently wealthy have made peace with not being impressive, with driving the average car, with living in the modest house, with wearing unremarkable clothes, with not having the answers when people ask what they do for fun or where they vacation. They have given themselves explicit permission to be financially invisible because they understand that financial invisibility is the prerequisite for financial freedom. Every dollar you spend on appearing wealthy is a dollar that does not compound. Every social performance of wealth you maintain, the luxury apartment, the designer wardrobe, the restaurant you cannot really afford, is a drain on the asset base that would eventually set you free. The silently wealthy chose freedom over appearance, invisibility over admiration, actual wealth over the performance of wealth. And that single choice made consciously and deliberately is what separates they from everyone else who earns similar incomes but never builds similar outcomes. Let me bring all 12 together. Drive boring cars, buy modest houses, keep your income private. Automate everything. Invest in index funds and never talk about it. Use debt strategically, not emotionally. Build skills that compound. Avoid lifestyle creep like a disease. Keep your emergency funds sacred. Build multiple income streams quietly. Think in decades, not months. Give yourself permission to be invisible. None of these moves are complicated. None of them require a finance degree. None of them require a high income or a lucky break or perfect timing. They require one thing that most people are never willing to give: the willingness to stop performing wealth and start building it. Because you cannot do both simultaneously. Every dollar that goes toward looking wealthy is a dollar that does not go toward being wealthy. Every social performance of success is energy that does not go toward actual success. The silently wealthy made a choice, a quiet, unglamorous, completely invisible choice to build real freedom instead of a convincing appearance of it. And 10, 20, 30 years later, while everyone who performed wealth is still broke and stressed and dependent on their next paycheck, the silently wealthy are free. Quietly, invisibly, completely free. This is Wealth Rebel, and we are done performing wealth for an audience that does not care. Hit that subscribe button for weekly videos on how to build real wealth the silent way. Drop a comment below which of these 12 silent moves are you starting today. Share this with someone who needs to stop performing and start building. I will see you in the next one. Stay rebellious.